and welcome to Levon's Kitchen. Today we're in the kitchen making some crispy fried pork chops, my husband's favorite dish. So we're gonna do that for him, and I like them too. So I think I'm gonna make me a pork chop sandwich. I'm gonna make him some pork chops and maybe some mashed potatoes or something. But the star of the day is the crispy fried pork chops. And I'm gonna give you some tips on how to make them crispy, tender, and delicious. So let's get to it. So first things first, I am Levon Fulton, and this is my kitchen, and I am the chef, and this is my cookbook. And right now the cookbook's actually on sale up until Mother's Day. It comes in a hardcover. I think the sale price is $12.99 and the soft cover is $10.99. Get those on my website from www.levonskitchen.com, because if you get it on Amazon or in some of the bookstores, you're going to be paying $26.99 all the way up to $37.99. So right now that $12.99 sounds amazing. Get those gifts for your mothers and your sisters, aunts, anybody who likes to cook. There's over 100 recipes in here. Let's see. Lots of pictures, recipes, tips, and ideas. So now with that said, okay, back to our pork chops. I'm gonna show you all of my ingredients and we're gonna get to getting. First, I have my pork chops, and I have them sitting on top of a piece of paper towel. I've had them sitting out so that they could come up to room temperature, because we want the pork chop to not burn on the inside and the flour to cook on the outside faster. So we bring it up to room temperature, and we want them dry, which is why I have them on the paper towel. So they're dry on that side. I've got another piece of paper towel. I'm just gonna dry them on this side. Make sure our coating sticks. Okay, and we have some flour and some cornstarch, and I'm gonna mix my flour with my cornstarch and just stir that up. Cornstarch will help make it crunchy, and these are supposed to be crunchy fried pork chops, so we want them to be good and crunchy. Okay, so I want to season my pork chops. And first off, I'm going to use some Creole seasoning. Some black pepper. And everything that I put in on my pork chop, I'm going to actually put in my flour. So I'm going to put some Creole seasoning in my flour, some black pepper in my flour. I want a little bit of smoked paprika. That in there. I'm gonna put a little salt. Just a little bit of salt. And then I'm gonna flip them and do the same thing. Now you could put onion powder and garlic if you want, but those tend to burn, and so I don't want my pork chops burned. I'm not gonna add those today. But my Creole seasoning has enough in it where I don't have to put those, so it's gonna be fine. All right, my pork chops are seasoned. And I'm going to mix my flour. Make sure that those seasons and spices get all mixed in there, combined really well. I'm gonna set that to the side. I have 2 eggs. that I'm going to add some hot sauce to. That's why I didn't need much salt, because my hot sauce is going to have salt in it as well. We don't want the pork chops to be too salty. So we're gonna mix that up. And this is gonna be our binder, which is going to help our flour to adhere to the pork chops. Make sure that's mixed real well. Okay, so I'm gonna turn on my oil and let that heat up to 350 degrees. So while my oil is heating up to 350 degrees, first thing I'm gonna do is take my pork chop and I'm gonna put it in the flour. Cover it up nice. Make sure it's nice and coated with that flour. Shake off the excess. Then we're going to add it to our egg dip. Make sure it's nice and coated. Let all the excess drip off. And then we're going to put it back in the flour. Pat it in there real good. We want to get that in there real good. This is our crunchiness right here. Now I'm just going to put this over here on a, see, just put these over here until our oil gets nice and hot, 350 degrees. Remember, make sure you have a thermometer so that you can check and make sure. You don't want to burn your pork chops. These are thin pork chops, so they're not going to cook long. And our last one. You guys make sure you watch my smothered pork chop video out there. You talking about something good and delicious. Those are amazing. That homemade gravy, yes. Okay, so while my oil is coming up to temperature, I'm gonna go ahead and clean up some of this. You know we have to clean as we go. So I'll be back. So as you can see, our oil is at 350 degrees. And so I'm gonna go ahead and put my pork chops in there. I'm just going to put 3 in at a time. I don't want to overcrowd it. Now, our pork chops have been frying on the one side for 5 minutes, and I didn't touch them. I know when they're in there, you want to touch them, you want to move them around and all kind of things, but when they're in there, do not touch them until your 5 minutes is up. So now I'm going to go ahead and flip them over. And let them cook for an additional 5 minutes. So it's been 5 minutes on the other side. Look at how nice and crispy that is. I'm gonna take these out and put them on a paper towel lined, a paper towel lined plate. Let that excess oil get off of there. And then I'm gonna let that come back up to temperature and add the rest of my pork chops. And make sure it's back up to 350 degrees. And I'm gonna add my other 2 pork chops. All right, we're back up to temperature. So let's go and add our last 2 pork chops. Okay, so my pork chops are ready. I was gonna put one on a sandwich, but I changed my mind. Look at these, don't they look delicious and crunchy? So what I did, I'm just gonna take me one. I wanna bite it first. Can you hear this? You hear that crunch? So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and eat my fried food. And guess what I need you guys to do? Hit that subscribe button so that you have access to all of my videos. And guess what? I'll see you next time in the kitchen.